Today's class is on grapes, brambles, and berries. Probably pretty short, unless we get a lot of questions. It's a smaller crowd, so we kind of interact a little bit. That's great. And what I did is, I'm not going to go over all the best varieties. There's too many of them. If you want to see all the grapes, brambles, and berries, they're up against the wall. Go straight out this door, right up against the wall. There's like a 50-foot row of nothing but different varieties. From vineyard grapes to dwarf blueberries. I've even got dwarf grapes that are made to grow on patios, decks, in containers. So we've got the whole schmooze. I mean, there's a ton of them. And we've stocked up for you all, because we know we're into hardcore gardeners here. This is, out of all the garden topics, we are down into gardener territory. It's not like, I want to grow a tomato. How do I do that? That's like, everyone does that. This is, you all are unique. It says something that you're sitting in a seat today, taking a class on growing better grapes and blueberries. I grow a lot of blueberries, a lot of grapes. I grow a few blueberries. I love, in my mouth's watering, think about picking blueberries off the bush and popping them in your mouth. They never make them in the house. They always get picked right there on the patio. I'll give you a secret on that one as well. How to plant, I'm gonna go over how to plant, best varieties, when to plant, all that kind of stuff, okay? And then how to produce more fruit. What you'll find in an arid climate is that the fruit is smaller, but there's a plethora of them, and they're sweeter. They're better tasting than, let's say, California or the Northwest or some other areas. They are like candy. But the dryness seems to dwarf them about 20%. I grew grapes in California as well, Northern California. We did a corporate stint up in Sacramento, Folsom. My son was born in Roseville. Those of you that know Northern California, those are all big names. So we grew some spectacular grapes, and that's in the middle of grape country. I mean, people come together just to sample their wines that they're making. You cringe every time you're invited because you know it's going to be vinegar, you know it's going to be bad, but you're invited because it's part of that culture. They just come and they get together, have a meal, test the new batch. You can do that here too, and have great, very good production. Very, very good. So grapes. I brought an example of a grape, and I just went through and I picked. I wasn't looking for a variety. I was looking for what kind of sample, what kind of shape, what am I looking for in a grape? And this is a great example. What kind is this? A red grape. So it's a table grape, seedless. It'll grow like weeds. It's already waking up. This thing will produce tendrils or vines on it that are out to, I mean, it'll go out to 10, 15 feet. It's amazing how fast vines, the grapes grow. I grow these up and down my fence line where the property is. I have a cedar fence, kind of sterile looking. These fences are pretty if you're a contractor, but otherwise, if you're a gardener, they're ugly. It's a big sterile wall sitting there. No matter how you paint it, try to soften it, it's just ugly. So I put brambles and grapes up and down the line, and it makes it feel more secret garden feel. Got some trellises that lean up against the fence that help it grow. It's very, very nice and produces very heavy. The reason I picked this form is what I'm looking for in a grape is a real long vine. And I'm going to pinch these off when I plant it. So I'm looking for more. I printed all the way up to here, and I would plant this sucker all the way up to this deep. Grapes are one of the only plants that will actually form roots up and down its vine. So I'm looking to go as deep as I can. I mean, I'll set that thing down. I've put planted grapes 3 feet deep. I mean, it is deep. So I get more moisture, more food. It's just a more robust kind of vine. So a lot of the vines over there, you'll see big long canes coming out, big long vines coming out right at the base. I'm not really looking for that unless I have to. A certain variety that I just really want. But out of that whole bin, let's say there's 20 different Concord grapes. Look for one that's a little more leggy looking, that exposes a little more of that base cane, and then plant it real deep, and you'll get more roots off of that. Don't do that with anything else. If you do that with a berry, if you get a blackberry with even a little bit of soil on its cane coming up, it'll die like that. Only with grapes. So I'm a little sensitive. You got to be really careful. But this is one where I really try to go deep. And grapes have roots that go down to China, very deep. So I water these much like I do my trees and my shrubs. In fact, they're on the same system as trees and shrubs. Roses, they're all the same system. I'll water it once a week. It's about right. A deep, deep soak. So I'm trying to get this much soil and then more. I want that water to be pushed real deep into that soil. If you don't do that, what will happen is it'll start to form grapes midsummer. It'll be real hot, I mean, into June, first part of July, before the monsoons come. It'll have some grape clusters on there, and it'll shed its grapes because the roots are not deep enough. And it got dry, and a grape, any of these fruits, they'll shed their fruit like that. They'll sacrifice the fruit to keep the core of the plant alive. And so to prevent that, I try to, especially with my grapes, I try to go real deep, and then I'll fertilize, won't cover food yet, but water, I'll just deep water them, and then I'll let them dry out. The danger is going to be, if you're into watering, like you water your plants every day, which is not good for trees and shrubs, that's terrible. You're creating a root structure that's only about 6 inches deep, and then they go out like this, because they can't breathe. You're suffocating them, you're drowning them. It's like holding your little puppy dog underneath the pool for like days. What's the chances of it living? None. Well, same with your plants. They like deep watering, then they need to breathe in between, especially fruit trees. Really sensitive to fruit trees, okay? Fruiting trees, shrubs, brambles, grapes, all that stuff. It's all the same. Make sense? Okay? All right, grapes. Grow them. Also, what do I grow them on, Ken? What do I need? I don't think that if you start to Google stuff, and you're searching online for grape information, all you're going to get is vineyard growth information, agriculture, big business, and it gets confusing. Residential or backyard gardening, I think we have a lot more flex, a lot more options to us. For me, my gardens have to be pretty first, then they have to produce. If it doesn't look good, it's not welcome in my yard. I'm way past my grandparents' place where it was plants in a row, marching across the yard like soldiers. I think we can blend garden with the artistic ability, with production, with, it can be pretty and. So for my yard, I have a 6-foot fence. So the book says only go to 5 foot or 4 foot or whatever. Have one vine, have a wire going across, have it one T come across. For me, what I did, I have a double T, so I did prune, all my grapes have been pruned back now. And so from the surface of the garden to the top, I go 6 foot because I want to go to the top of the fence. I want it to be a secret garden. I want it to be foliage. I want it to be full of life and exploding and spilling over. And the bonus is grapes coming out. I want it to look good first. So I trained it to 6 foot. That's not what the book will tell you to do. My name's Ken, I'm your friend. This is what I do. And I think it would work for you too, and you still get lots and lots of grapes. You might not get as many hundreds of bushels per acre foot, whatever, but we're not measuring that in our backyard. We just you'll actually have off of one vine way more than you can really use. I mean, my grandson and I, we go out and we eat until we are sick. We just sit there and we just eat grapes until we're sick. And then there's still some left. And so you'll have plenty. I go to the top, tee it off, and it's cut back to about right here right now. It has not woken up. My yard, my grapes have not woken up yet. So the buds are swelling pretty good. I predict after this rain, they'll go crazy. I mean, I think they'll wake up pretty quick. Halfway down at the 3 foot mark, I have another T. So I have a double T coming off, and everything's been trimmed back to the main trunk, and then two canes I'm going to train to go out this way along the fence. Does it make sense? And it looks good. I'm trying to soften up that big fence. It would be easier if I had a chain link fence, just because then I could tie it into there easily. A cedar fence is a little harder because it's just planks back and forth, and so I actually took a trellis and I actually attached it to the fence so I could train up this vine better, easier. Okay, that's how I did it. I think you just don't have to listen to everything you read on the internet or a book. It's all going to be, especially for grapes and berries, it's all going to be about major agribusiness, major production, because they're growing for Costco. They're trying to get more produce coming off of that. For us, I think we can be a little more, we can flex with that a lot more. Does that make sense? So have fun with it. You do need to prune. You need to butcher grapes. You need to cut them way back, or they won't produce as heavy. So, okay, questions on grapes? Yes?
I'm in raised, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'm in raised beds that are 2.5 feet high. And that's
excellent.
Is that deep enough?
So she's got grape beds. She's going to plant grapes in a 2.5-foot raised bed. I'm jealous already.
Oh.
That should be excellent. I mean, that much soil, that's great.
Oh.
I would dig that plant. I would take that grape, 2.5 feet. I would get a real tall grape, and I would try to go as down to the bottom of that bed if I could. I'd rest it right on the native soil, whatever's down there you put it onto. I'd have as much soil in that as you could. You'll have amazing production. Just amazing. In the back.
And when I bought my house, we turned grapes in there, and some of the vines and canes were like 60, 70 feet long.
Yeah, wow. Oh my gosh.
It was like 2 or 3 years down back.
Yeah.
And they said cut all the way back, and I did. So it was 60 feet, maybe like this high, maybe this big, not too much.
Well, it's too late. You're already committed.
I know.
I think it'll be fine. It's hard to kill a grape. What will happen is you've gone from huge, unmaintained for years, down to I'm trying to get control of this thing. I mean, it looks like Jurassic Park. If you let it go, it looks like a jungle out there. It's just, it'll take over. They need to be cut back. What may happen is this year, it might affect how many grapes that it produces. It may affect that. I doubt it, but it may. But next year will be unbelievable. Oh my gosh, you'll be wowed. So I think you're fine. Yeah, in the back.
How long has yours been in the ground?
Oh, so long, I forgot. 7, 8 years, something like that. Something like that. The trunks on them are pretty good size. Not tree formed. They can get quite large, but they're about that big. And I add some grapes up and down the line every once in a while. So I'll see a new one here and I go, oh, I haven't grown that one. I'll just try it. I mainly do table grapes for myself. I don't do wine grapes, but the technique is the same. A grape is a grape is a grape. The other question comes up as far as varieties go. This is mainly my Midwest folks. They'll go, well, what's the hardiest variety? Because they'll get 8-foot frost lines. They need the hardiest varieties of grapes. So they'll do the Himrods instead of the Thompsons, because Himrods are much more, they have more antifreeze, they're much more robust in very cold climates. What I find here, it doesn't matter. We're so mild, we just don't get that kind of cold. If we do get a frost line, it's only like this deep. It's pretty, have the variety you want. So we do get into really obscure varieties. So someone's putting in a vineyard now, they're asking for something I've never even heard of. And I go, you're the only one in an entire town that wants that. I'm not going to bring that into the store because I'll be sitting on the other 8. You only wanted 2. I'm only going to bring in the most varieties, the best, most popular varieties here. I will get a lot more varieties than, let's say, a big box will, just because I have more gardeners shopping here. I've got more people that will buy the interesting, freaky, weird, and gardeners will try new things. So little pearl grapes, I can sell those. I bring them in. No one else can, but I can because I have gardeners who want to try things. And as a gardener, I think it's okay. I reserve 10% of my gardens for things I've never heard of, grown before, I've read about, I saw them, I get them. It's like Christmas here. I work at a Christmas shop for gardeners. Every time those truck doors come open from the farms, I go, that's me. So 10% of my gardens are just for things I've never grown before, you've never heard of, just for fun. Now most of it's dedicated to production, like proving themselves, but I think part of gardening is just to have fun, just to try it and see. And gardeners, I've learned, never tell a gardener they can or cannot do something. I mean, they will they will find a way to make that thing grow. And I want to grow a palm tree. Well, I don't grow up here. Well, yes, they will. I'm going to go to Phoenix and get one. Try it. And you'll hear rumors of them for 2-3 years. Then they forget and then it dies. So the gardeners, they'll find a way to make it grow. Okay? Grapes. When do you prune grapes? Very good question. You prune grapes from the new year through March. So you're a little bit late, but not too late. They haven't woken up yet. Really get them done before they wake up. Grapes are formed on new growth. There you go. That's why you cut them back. So you don't want old, stubby, woody growth out there. You want to cut it back so it encourages all that root mass to form new vines, so you get more grapes on the vine. That's why you're pruning. I'll feature one last, and we'll move on to blackberries and raspberries. This is really cool. This is a miniature grape. I didn't know they made such a thing until this one. It's called Petite Pixie. It's just a miniature grape. This only gets this big. It stays like this. So if you've got a deck or something, you want something fun, and you want to invite friends over and watch the sunset with a glass of Chardonnay, this is one they will be really impressed with, because you're growing a grape in a container. I grow a lot of berries in containers, the miniature berries, but we've not had access to miniature grapes. So have fun with it.
Ken?
I would not put a regular grape in a pot, because they're just too big, too aggressive. Yeah.
Does it get fruit on it?
Oh, it does. Oh, it's loaded. Look at it. Loaded with grapes. It only gets this big. 3 by 3, something like that. Oh, the grapes are smaller, but they make up for it in quantity.
Okay, are they seedless?
This is brand new. I've never grown this. We'll read the tag together later. I just got excited going, it's miniature. I've never seen that. That's neat. So I get excited. I've been doing this for decades, and I still come to work and get excited. I look forward to coming to work every day. It's like not work. It's a joy. And that's why I tend to get a little excited sometimes or animated. Let's go to